I think people realize that there's a crisis. They see images of people dying, and they want the war to end. They want Israel to be secure, but they also want Palestinian lives not to be lost. And I think once the war comes to an end under the president's leadership, his numbers will improve, just like his numbers have bounced back on the economy. And in the Bloomberg poll, he's closed the gap in a lot of the swing states.
Okay, we'll talk about the economy in just a second, but I want to talk about this UN Security Council resolution this week. We did not act to veto it or to stop it. That didn't go over well with a lot of folks. Here is former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo on how that's playing worldwide.
Not only will Hamas be happy with the abstention, the Iranian terrorists will be happy, the folks who underwrote, trained the people who committed the barbarities of October 7th. The Russians will be happy, the Chinese Communist Party will be happy, and all our friends around the world will see that an ally walked away from its friends in its time of struggle.
Is that a message we want to be sending?
I respectfully just disagree with Secretary Pompeo. Look, you have 14 countries in the world in the Security Council that have been calling for a ceasefire and the immediate release of all hostages. We've been the only country in the past that was vetoing it. Actually was hurting our ability to build the multilateral coalitions we need to stand up to Putin, to stand up to Xi Jinping, because we were isolating ourselves from allies we need. And it's a philosophical difference. Pompeo believes that America can go it alone. President Biden believes in building alliances to stand up to Putin and Xi Jinping.
Okay, my understanding on this latest resolution is that it was calling for an immediate ceasefire, but not conditioned on getting the hostages out immediately. And I know that those are ongoing conversations. We think they're continuing in Cairo over the next few days, too. You mentioned the economy, so we've got polling on that as well. New data showing that when people are asked, are you better off financially than you were 4 years ago, a majority, 52% say they are worse off, 26% say about the same, but only 1 in 5 think they're better off now than they were under President Trump. That includes 86% of independents who report that they think the economy is negative, and you need them to win in the fall.
Well, look, this country went through COVID, and I think that had a huge, huge impact, and we're still recovering from it. But the question is, what is the choice? Here's what President Biden wants to do. He's created 15 million new jobs. He wants to bring back manufacturing. He wants to raise wages for folks. He wants to lower the cost of prescription drugs. President Trump had 4 years. What did he do? He had corporate tax cuts. Many people benefited from it in Silicon Valley, in my district. And the question is, where do you think the economic vision of this country should go? I believe invest in the working and middle class. There's no doubt people are hurting because we're still recovering from COVID, but President Biden has a better economic vision.
Well, why do the polls say the opposite? Why do more people give the edge to former President Trump, say they were doing better under him and they prefer him to handle things like the economy and inflation?
I think many people think 4 years ago was prior to COVID, and COVID really hurt folks. I mean, we had a huge increase in unemployment. We had a lot of supply chains get interrupted, but President Biden has steered us out of that low point, and he has done it by investing in infrastructure, by creating 15 million new jobs, lowering prescription drug costs, building infrastructure. And the point, though, is elections are about the future. I mean, what is President Trump's economic agenda? As I understand it, it is massive tax cuts for the very wealthy. President Biden's economic agenda is a raise for the working class. And I think people will see that President Biden's policies will be better.
Well, they had the optics this week in New York of 2 events. A huge fundraiser with former President Obama and Clinton. A lot of star-studded folks at Radio City Music Hall raised more than $26 million. It's what campaigns have to do these days. But across town, President Trump was at the wake for a fallen NYPD soldier. Now, somebody who's not a fan of President Trump, Bill Kristol, tweeted about it. He said, an unfortunate day politically for the Democrats. Biden does a fancy NYC fundraiser in the midst of chaotic left-wing street protests. Looks like limousine liberalism plus the breakdown of law and order. Trump attends the wake of a slain NYPD police officer on Long Island. David Axelrod, a longtime strategist and Democratic official, says not wrong. He agrees the optics of that were tough. Do you think that President Biden should have made time for both events?
Well, my heart goes out to the slain police officer's family and his sacrifice for the community and the country. And I don't want to in any way diminish that. I think President Biden's event with President Clinton and President Obama was about unifying the Democratic Party, showing that this Democratic Party is going to be energized and inspired and is going to be prepared to win in 2024. But, of course, the president should convey his condolences to that family, and I'm sure he will.
And Congressman Khanna, very quickly before we go, the House will be back soon, and the Speaker is under threat of a vote to vacate the chair. Would you join other Democrats in saving him or allow it to fall apart?
I would consider it under two conditions. One, we get the aid into Ukraine, so we stand up to Putin. And two, let's get the $600 million to rebuild the bridge in Baltimore. I mean, I read somewhere it's going to take 3 years, 4 years. China would do it in 3 months. Let's get the steel. Let's get the permitting. Let's get the funding. Let's show that America can still do things, big things, when there's a crisis. And let's have a timeline of 6 months to do it. So if Speaker Johnson does Ukraine funding in the bridge, then I'm open to it.
I would suspect other Democrats may join you. Okay, Congressman, thank you very much for your time. Always good to see you.
Thank you.